I'm excited for our conversation today. I have a special guest, Mya-Karren, and I'm really pumped for the conversation that we are going to have today as we tackle in natural hair in the workspace and all that comes with it. As I mentioned in the beginning, I have an amazing guest today, and we're going to get a chance to talk a little bit more about navigating hair biases or just embracing our natural hair in the workplace. And so, before we get into the conversation, I do want to sort of like premise by talking about the heart behind the challenge, right? And so, we've been going live all week. And so, really, the goal is to educate and empower and support women through their journey of either starting their hair, maintaining their healthy hair. And so through these intentional conversations, we are creating a community where we're not just learning about hair care, but we're learning like practical tools. We're learning, we're getting knowledge, encouragement on just how to better understand and care for our natural hair. And so today we're going to be, as I mentioned, we're going to be speaking on the topic of navigating professionalism, confidence, hair bias, and just embracing our natural hair in the workspace. So today we have Mya-Karren. Mya runs a fashion blog called Classically Kept, and now she also shares her natural hair care journey and natural hair topics on YouTube, Instagram, and all the different platforms. What has really drawn me to your page, Mya, has always just been how beautiful and eloquent your style, your hairstyles are. You always just do a great job at showcasing your hair in a very beautiful and sometimes seemingly simple but very beautiful way. And
Thank
so
you. You as well.
I'm thank you. I'm really drawn into just how you present yourself on camera. So, with that being said, I wonder, has it always been that way for you? Have you always felt confident to show up in your natural identity, specifically in the workspace? Or have you ever felt sort of like pressure to alter your hair to fit in the workspace or just change how you show up to fit in the workspace?
No, I have not. Do you want me to get a little bit of context?
Yeah, sure, that would be great.
So no, I have not. So for anyone who's not been a part of my community, thank you for being here, girl Andy. Thank you. In 2012, so from 2012, by trade, I am
Mm-hmm.
an independent adjuster, like basically commercial. So basically, what that is there's a storm that comes through. We have a restaurant called Bob's Burgers. It gets damaged through the storm. I handle the claim. So
Yeah.
from 2012 to 2019, I was in the office, and these were contracts. So I was not an employee. I was not salaried. With that being
Okay.
said, in my contract, it said that we had to have business casual attire. So I will give an example. I personally would not have an issue wearing this type of hairstyle to work. But what I
Mm-hmm.
will say is I would probably take out the hairpins. It's more so for me, I don't want to be a distraction. I want to get in, do my work, and then go home. Maybe
Yeah.
when I go home or me and my girlfriends go out, I can put these in. But just so that it's not like a topic or it doesn't seem like it's, over the top, I would probably take this out, but I would do the
Mm-hmm.
exact same hairstyle. Um,
Okay.
Go ahead.
So it sounds like you've just always been confident wearing your natural hair, right?
Yes,
What has helped you become that confident?
my mother. So growing up, and I think she put a little bit of emphasis on it because growing up, I was typically the only one.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
neighborhood, classroom, gymnastics, ballet. And what
Yeah.
she instilled in me is that my complexion and my hair was beautiful just the way that it is. Not saying that someone who does not have melanin, not saying that someone who does not have type 4 hair, it's not beautiful. Their beauty is unique. So I think
Mm-hmm.
she put a little bit of emphasis on it, but she always wanted me to know that the way that God made me, I'm just fine. So
Yeah.
that has carried me all the way through adulthood.
I love that. That's amazing. So it sounds like your mother was very inspirational in your journey of embracing self. Did she rock her natural hair? Was she somebody that embraced her natural hair? What was her hair journey like?
She was. So, of course, in college and growing up, she did get a relaxer. And then she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She's in remission
Mm-hmm.
now. But when
Mm-hmm.
she came off of chemo, she decided what she had been talking about for a while. She decided
Yeah,
to go natural. That was in
yeah.
high school. So that was 2004 to 2007. So when
Mm-hmm.
I called her to tell her I was going to go natural, she was all for it.
I love that. So that's that representation piece that we talk about so often, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Why do you think representation is important for young Black girls or just people in general, Black women in general? Why do you think that representation piece plays such a big role in our journey?
I think it plays a big role because I should be able to show up with the hair that I was born with and it not be an issue, it not be
Yeah,
a distraction, and not be a topic of conversation, right?
yeah,
That's why we have the Crown Act. I think
yeah,
it's important for the young woman who is natural to see the woman who has arrived at the C suite. I
yeah.
think it's important for the young woman to see the woman in the C-suite with her natural hair. So
Right,
yes,
right,
absolutely. I think representation matters because it's who I am. It's who I
right.
am and it's who you are. I shouldn't
Yeah.
have to change this to get a job.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And historically, natural hair has not always been viewed as professional.
Oh
I
yeah.
know personally when I started working, I'm in education, as you know. When
Yes.
I started working in the classroom, I would refrain from doing hairstyles that had my hair out. So I would do the buns, I would do the low buns, I would do the high buns, but I would never actually let my hair out. And I didn't necessarily like vocalize that I didn't feel confident in doing so, but as I sort of like interrogated my thoughts and like the reasons why I did things, I realized there was a lack of confidence there. I was not the only Black person in the school, but I was the only Black person with natural hair.
Okay.
Everybody did always just wear the wigs and the weaves. And so I felt pressure to sort of like keep my hair contained as much as possible, right? And so it would just be in the buns, in the low buns, but it never I never wore it out until the day I finally did wear it out. I did a wash and go, and it was like the topic of the conversation. Oh my God,
Yes.
yeah, all the things, right? And so as I grew in confidence in my hair journey, I started doing it a little bit more. I started just leaving my hair a little bit more. And I did it at that point, not necessarily for me, but for the Black students who have hair like mine, whose curls are just like mine, and they wake up to their beautiful afro, and they have families with beautiful afros. So I started doing it for them until I was able to say, you know what, this is for me as well. And so I think it's definitely important to have that um level of representation, one, but to also defy the odds, right? Like wear your hair in a big fro. And yes, that is professional, and it's not unkept because it's not in a bun or slicked back or whatever the case
Exactly.
might be, right? I sort of want to talk a little bit about sort of like a recent issue that happened in 2022, not too recent, but recent enough, where a student at Barber Hills High School was suspended for wearing braids. I mean, that this video is sponsored by Heritage. Heritage is a company that creates resources for children that helps them with learning their letters, and it helps them see their natural hair reflected. How beautiful is that? And since you're on this page, I know that natural hair care is something that's important to you. So go over to their website at www.heritage.com. I sort of want to talk a little bit about sort of like a recent issue that happened in 2022, not too recent, but recent enough, where a student at Barber Hills High School was suspended for wearing braids. I mean, that case is not an anomaly. Like, this happens all the time, right?
Right.
Where Black students or Black children are they receive consequences, negative consequences for wearing their natural hair. And so I wonder whether wearing your natural hair at any given point has ever cost you something, whether it's something internally or externally. Has showing up in your natural beauty ever cost you anything or cost you something?
Not to my knowledge. No one has said anything to my face.
Yeah,
If you want me to give a work reference, so then we're talking about
yeah.
natural hair at the workplace. So the way that it works is I'm an independent adjuster and I send my resume out to independent adjusting firms. They
Mm-hmm.
will get the contract, and let's say State Farm needs 100 independent employees. They will then contact me and say, hey, can you be here in 48 hours? I'm giving that context because they don't know what I look like. They know what I look like
Right.
on arrival. So they can't just send me home. So
Mm-hmm.
for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm
Yeah,
saying it's never been done to my face.
yeah,
Essentially, when I show up, I already have the job, I already have
yeah,
the contract. So
yeah,
I don't, no one has said anything to me, but I've
yeah.
also never been just, I have never arrived at a contract and then been let go. So
Mm-hmm.
none that I'm aware of.
Yeah. I really just love how um you seem to really have embraced your true, authentic, natural identity from an early stance at an early age. I really would love to hear your thoughts for the younger girls who are on the live, say college, right, about to head into college, or just coming out of college. What are some practical things they can do to build their confidence in their natural hair as they are either approaching school or entering the workspace?
Oh, this is a good question, but it's also a loaded question.
Loaded one. Yeah, 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 for sure.
Um, and I know we're probably going to talk about transitioning, or unless you want me to
Yeah,
tack that on to this.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
so as far because we were just having a conversation earlier about also advice about you're at the workplace and you're
Hmm.
going to transition.
Yeah.
Um, if you are someone that has been wearing the weaves, wigs, and extensions, and you've made the decision to go natural, and those weaves, wigs, and extensions are either a looser curl pattern or they're straight, if you
Hmm.
come to work the next day with your natural hair, with a big chop, with a TWA, there are going to be questions, there are going
Yeah.
to be looks. So I know people have heard the phrase, I need you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm.
Um, and there are going to be questions because for a lot of people, especially in the workplace, they've never seen the transition.
Yeah.
So there are going to be questions, there are probably going to be looks. What I will say is, very politely answer the questions, but it shouldn't get to a point of like harassment. This should not be a topic of conversation every single day. You should not be harassed. But as far as just leaving college, as far as applying for jobs, um, I would much rather a young woman show up minus the hairpins, excuse me, minus the hairpins. I'd rather them
Hmm.
just show up like this and just set the resume down. It should speak for itself. The
Yeah.
hair shouldn't even really be a topic of
Right.
conversation. Your work ethic, your resume, your accolades, they should speak for themselves. And quite frankly, if your hair is going to be an issue, you don't need to work there because you are never going to be able to live that down. It's always
Yeah.
going to be something.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you think someone should tone down their styles? Because you talk a little bit about like the hairpins, right? Um, do you think there should be a little bit of toning down the hairstyles in the workspace to sort of like focus the attention on your work, or for the people who do love the hairpins and they love the bedazzles. I myself am sometimes will love the bedazzles a little bit, right? Like what are your thoughts on that? Should people be toning their hairstyles down?
This is a good question. So when you say tone down, because we also need to acknowledge the career path that we're going to take, right? So
Mm,
for like traditional roles, banking, Wall Street, lawyer, doctor,
yeah,
if I'm a lawyer, in all honesty, I would wear this to court, but
yeah,
I would probably take these out. Now,
yeah.
am I going to bust into court with a blue afro? Probably not. And the reason why I say that, there's nothing wrong with the afro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's like a rule that you cannot have blue hair as a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that each law firm has a code of conduct or a dress policy. And
Mm-hmm.
typically, what you will see is it has to be a natural color. So when you
Mm.
say tone down, are you talking about like size and or hairstyles?
I was thinking more on the hairstyle,
Okay.
and just like making it a little bit more like not in your face. Like we know the afro can be very much in your face,
Yes.
right? Versus like a low bun that can be very
Yes.
it's just a little bit more, it's a little bit more subtle, right? And so that's what I mean by like the different styles that you do.
So there was a lady that recently went viral. I believe her hair was like orange and yellow and like fire engine red. And it was
Hmm.
like this mohawk. And they sent her home. Now
Yeah.
I have no idea where she worked, but and I believe it was straight. It wasn't even like natural texture.
Mm,
Again, depending on where you work, it might not be appropriate. And for those people, it wasn't
yeah.
appropriate. So when you
Yeah.
say toning down, in my opinion, this hairstyle is fine. It's pinned
Yeah.
up, it's neat. Your hairstyle is fine. It's pinned up, it's neat, it's tidy,
Yeah.
it's professional. But if someone wants to do a wash and go and then pin the side up, that's professional to me. If somebody
Yeah.
wants to do a braid out, if somebody wants to do a twist out, that's professional to me. I do think, unfortunately, when it comes to braids and dreads, I don't
Yeah.
think we've gotten there yet. But as far as toning down the hairstyle, I think we just need to be cognizant of where we are working. So again,
Yeah.
to the lawyer, an afro is fine. I don't think it should be blue. Now, if you work at Cosmopolitan, you can probably wear what you want and do what you want.
Yeah.
If you are customer service and you're on the phone all day and you're not customer facing, they probably could care less as long as you show up and answer the phone. So I
Yeah.
think two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
Natural hair is professional, but I think we also have to understand the environment that someone is working in.
Yeah. You know what I often struggle with when it comes to this conversation? I often think about our white counterparts, right? There
Yes,
is just not a conversation
it's not.
around what they can wear and what they can't wear. So I'm not referring to the colors, right? So let's put the colors aside and just talk about hairstyles, right? There's never a time where you'll hear, oh, this hairstyle was a little bit too much. That's just not a thing, right? And so it just makes me wonder, how then is it that we sort of have to sort of sometimes tiptoe around it, or just be so conscious of this? Like we have to intentionally choose hairstyles that are deemed appropriate when our white counterparts just don't have to go that extra mile. So it makes me think, should we even have to like go through this, internal lingo to figure out whether this is good enough, or should we just wear our hair the way that it comes out? Because my afro is just what it is, right? Like my hair just shows up in a big poof. I can't help
And
it.
that is a good point because we were just talking about the young man from Barbers Hill, and you make a great point.
Hmm.
The amount of times I would go to work and see the messy bun
Yeah,
sitting on top of my counterpart's head.
that no one says anything about.
But here's the thing, and I think this is part of the issue with the young man from Barbers Hill.
Hmm.
what is tidy, what is professional, or what is neat is
Yeah.
relative,
Sure.
because
Yeah.
the individual who sent him home, whether it was an administrator or whether it was a teacher, I saw photos. He had dreads and they were just pulled back. And the people who sent him home or said it wasn't tidy, because I think they also said there was a violation, they don't know the behavior of dreads,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I give this example all the time. I could slick my hair at 8 a.m. to the gods and just
Yeah.
slick it down and put it in a bun. Come 3 p.m.,
Yes.
it's not going to look like that
It just does what
anymore.
it wants, for
When my
sure.
counterpart, maybe all she has to do is go in the bathroom and just brush it.
Yep.
I'm not going to be able to do that. So I understand what you're saying. We have to ask the question, what who is making the rule and
Right.
what is considered professional, tidy, and neat? Because it means different things for different people. This hairstyle that
Absolutely.
I have is going to look very different on, it's not going to be as big, but it's going to look very different on someone who has a straighter texture of hair. So you make a
Absolutely.
great point. You make a
Absolutely. And it makes me wonder whether we should continue to play safe, because I think sometimes, obviously not everyone has the luxury to um be a little bit more vocal, or to be a little
right.
bit more
Yeah, we're talking about
um
livelihoods. Absolutely.
right,
Yes.
exactly. So, but for the people who can, for the people who have the luxury to just speak up a little bit more, I think it's really important that we challenge the status quo and we put it out there. We have these dialogues, we have these kind of conversations, so that we're having a better understanding of what it means to be professional in the workspace, when it as it relates to our hair, you know what I mean? Someone in the comments said, I think some people need to start appreciating people in our community who choose to rock their natural hair the way that it is. And I absolutely
I
agree with
agree.
that. Because I think it's those people that sort of like push the narrative forward a little bit more, that no, we can show up this way and that's okay.
Now, I never got the chance,
Mm-hmm.
but if I was to ever go back into the office
Yeah,
for insurance, if I would ever get a contract, I would test out head wraps. I'm not gonna lie. I will throw a head
that's a
wrap.
thing.
I never got the chance. Don't worry, it would, it wouldn't be, right, but it would match my outfit. I never got
Yeah.
a chance to try that, but if I ever have to go back, I will inquire about head wraps.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I honestly am not quite there yet. I'm not at a point where I can say I'm comfortable or confident to wear a head wrap to work. Like, I will do it outside. I'll do it for other occasions, but I don't know if I was actually thinking about that this morning. I tied my hair up and I was like, I need to get some more head wraps for work, because I've never worn a head wrap to work, and I just wonder how that would make me feel. I wonder
Yes.
what what would like stir up on the inside of me of just doing that. Someone in the comments also said, wouldn't feel confident. Oh, she read an article earlier today where a black doctor wore twist out for a work picture, and one of our own commented and said, if they were to go to the hospital and saw a doctor's hair like that, they wouldn't feel confident in her as a doctor. Wow.
That's your business.
Ooh, come on
That's,
now.
that's your business.
Come
I've
on.
seen, I can't think of her name right now. Her name is missing me, but she's on
Yeah.
Instagram and she has her twist out all the time. And she's in the OR. She has to
Yeah.
take like 2 operating caps, which I find hilarious.
I love that.
To the person, and again, but this is the reason why I say you need to show up. And this is the reason why the colleague who was just starting needs
Mm-hmm.
to see that Black woman in the C-suite. She didn't have to compromise herself and she's still wearing her natural
Yeah.
hair. The
Yeah.
fact that you think I cannot do my job because my
Right.
hair is natural, that says more about you than it does about me. They're not
Right.
just handing out MDs, okay?
Right.
They're
Right.
not just
Right.
handing those out. So,
Right. Right.
I mean, I don't, that that kind of goes along with the, I
Yeah.
want a, white doctor and a black,
Right.
Because like,
Right.
and I've had this conversation on my channel sometimes. Sometimes the call is coming from within the house. I don't know. Are you familiar with living single?
No, no.
Okay, well then, never mind. I'm just gonna give an anecdote, but never mind.
Okay, okay. I think we just have a lot of work to do as a
We do,
community,
we do, absolutely,
and the work continues. It's important for us to have those conversations because somehow we have really gotten to the place where we question our own competence, and we don't necessarily always believe that I as a black person, you as a black person, our other, our black community members, they are more than qualified to do the job
absolutely.
outside of, what their hair looks like, what, how they show up physically. You know what I mean? Like, we really just need to question whether we believe that. Do we have the brains to just do the things? Like, are we competent?
And
Are
to
we
your point,
able?
exactly. And to your point, don't quote me on the year. I think
Mhm.
it was 2016. Hampton University, they received backlash because they
Yeah.
were telling their business majors that once again, that braids and dreads were not professional.
Mm. Yeah. Wow. Which I think people in the locks community definitely we have some more work to do in terms of like supporting our brothers and sisters with locks too, because they get it. They often are the ones getting that their hair is not professional. So there's definitely work to be done in that space for sure. Someone said I've worn a head wrap at my first job right after college, and the supervisor, a black woman, pulled me aside and said that it wasn't professional. That hurt a little bit. I never had any issues with a head wrap. Other supervisors didn't pull me aside. So that's interesting. It would definitely be a great experiment, Maya, to sort of like show up in the workspace with
I will
head
do
wraps
it.
and see.
I will do it. But
Yeah.
to the person that commented that, I don't know if you're still at that particular job, but that's for me personally. That's when I go to HR,
Yeah.
and that is when I look up the dress policy.
Yeah.
That's me though. But at the same time though, I also understand that it takes time to get to
Mhm.
where I am.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
takes
Mhm.
time for people to grow in their confidence, and it takes
Yeah,
time for people to speak up. Because what
for
you
sure.
also don't want to happen, unfortunately, for the person that commented, is the retaliation or the backlash. Because I'm assuming that was their manager.
Yeah.
So there are definitely different ways to go about it, but that's when you go to the rule book.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. What message do you think it sends to just women when they see other women in leadership positions rocking their natural hair? Sort of like going back to the conversation of the black doctor that you talked about, that, often has two caps on because of, her hair. And what kind of message do you think it sends to people when they see women in power wearing their natural hair?
That it's possible.
Yeah.
Your hair, again, like I said, in the interview, walk in like this, minus the hairpins. If you're
Yeah.
feeling bold, go ahead and do the hairpins.
Yeah.
You have your little pearl earrings, not too much makeup, all the stuff that they tell you,
Yeah. Yeah.
your suit, your portfolio, your little bag, your heels that are 2 inches or lower. You set
Yeah.
the resume down and you say, this is what it is. It's not
Yeah.
changing. I'm not slapping on a wig. But I
Yeah.
think, once again, going back to the younger colleague in the C-suite, this
Mhm.
person needs to see this person just to know that it's
For
possible.
sure.
You can do what you
Absolutely.
want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What advice would you give your younger self about just being comfortable and confident in who you are?
It's really not about hair. It's more
Mm.
so about being skinny.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
The hair thing, just like we were having the conversation earlier,
Yeah.
um, when I made my decision to go natural,
Yeah.
I had to let go of all of my insecurities when it came
Yeah.
to my hair, because
Yeah.
I had never done my hair when it was natural. So I
Yeah.
had to let go of the insecurities. I had to accept my hair for what it was. how beautiful it was, what it will
Yeah.
never do, and what it will never be. And that's straight hair,
Yeah.
outside of the blow dryer and the flat iron.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more so just accepting the fact that I'm always going to be skinny.
Yeah.
The hair confidences have been there for a while.
Yeah. What I do notice in my natural hair journey, the skills that I am learning um in just like caring for my hair, they sort of show up in a lot of other aspects of my life, right? So it at some point it stops being about the hair and starts being about, do you believe that the way that you have been created, do you believe that you are enough in every single way? And so I think, for the younger girls, if they are able to sort of like ride the wave of like the uncomfortable feelings of just like, I don't really like this, I don't like how it
The
looks,
awkward phase.
ride the awkward phase, if they're just able to like ride the waves, just go through it and learn what they need to learn, it stops just becoming about hair, because it just teaches you in general to just show up and to show up confident in who you are. And so even though, you didn't necessarily have like that um lack of confidence when it came to your natural hair, I'm sure that ability to show up has impacted you positively in other aspects of your life.
Yes,
Yeah.
like being skinny, showing up skinny.
Yeah. And you look beautiful in the figure that you
Thank
have
you.
created. So as we sort of like close tonight, I want to ask you a final question. What does it mean to show up authentically in the workspace in all aspects? Like what does that mean for you?
To show up authentically just in life and in work.
Yeah.
To show up authentically in life, is either going to be this hairstyle, a head wrap, or the other hairstyle that I do, and
Yeah.
just knowing that it's fine just the way that it is. I was beautifully created by the man
Yeah.
upstairs, as
Yeah.
everybody says. As far as work is concerned,
Yeah.
showing up and being presentable like this, and my work speaking for itself,
Yeah.
right? We've been working together for 3 months now. My hair should still not be a topic of conversation. Let's
Right.
come to work,
Yeah.
chit chat, and then go home, right?
Right.
I don't, in the beginning, I don't have any issues answering questions in the beginning. But if we're
Yeah.
talking 2, 3 months out, there's something called Google. Um, I am not the representative for all things natural hair because I have one of a billion textures, right?
Yeah.
So I think just showing up, ready to work, ask your questions, let's move on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are all the questions I have for you, Maya. I really, really appreciated this conversation
Of
because
course.
I think it really exemplified the idea that not all of us sort of like struggle with accepting our natural selves, right? But this is what it can look like. This is what
Yes,
it looks like when you do the work of showing up, when you do the work of just going after it and making up your mind. You said when I decided, right? When I decided to go natural, like you made that decision
that was
within
it.
yourself,
Yes.
and everything else that came along with it, you took that on. And so this is what it looks like. This is how we can show up. And your confidence, your level of confidence, if anyone has ever told you that, your level of confidence literally like it just shines through the screen. Like we
Thank
all
you.
can see it. We all can see it. And you don't have to tell us that you are confident in who you are for us to see it. And so I personally appreciate you showing up in your natural state. You always just show up. You don't do too much makeup. You don't do a lot. You just show up. You just be gorgeous in the way that you were created. And I just
I'm
love
terrible
it.
with makeup.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with makeup.
It's a skill that I know not all of us have. I know I for sure am like, Lord, I just try. Um, but yeah, I thank you and I appreciate the fact that you are representing what it looks like to just be. And that's what we want for our girls to just show up and be.
Just show up and to just
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Tell the people before we head out how they can connect with you. Tell them a little bit more about the amazing projects that you have going on.
So I mean, as far as what I have coming up, I am going to be in New York City on July 18th with Amanera Naturals. I'm
I
very
hope to see you
excited.
there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be there too.
we're gonna be there. Okay,
Yes.
we'll have to do like lunch or something. But we're
Yes.
getting off topic.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
very excited, but I'm also very nervous.
Yeah.
And I am on Pinterest, I'm on YouTube, my website and Instagram is all classically kept. I went natural in 2010 and I have not looked back since.
Yes. We love it. We love it. Definitely keep rocking you, Boo. We are cheering you on. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate what you are doing. Thank you so, so much again, Mya-Karren, for having this dialogue with me. And please make sure you go over to Classically Kept. Definitely follow, go over to the YouTube page and just support in any way that you can. Thank you so much again, Maya. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night. And for everyone else, we'll see you guys tomorrow for our next conversation. Thank you so much again.
Have a good evening, everyone.